Everyone keeps asking the same question right now, usually in a low voice, usually with fear hiding behind it. Should I sell my silver now? And before I answer, understand this. Questions like that only appear when something valuable is being tested. Nobody asks whether to sell what they don't believe in. Silver doesn't create doubt because it's weak. It creates doubt because it's rare, misunderstood, and powerful at the same time. And rare opportunities always shake the emotions before they reward patience. I remember the first time I felt this pressure myself. Charts were noisy, headlines were loud, and everyone around me suddenly sounded like an expert. Prices moved, opinions shifted, and I felt that familiar pull, the urge to react instead of think. That moment taught me something that changed how I approach not just investing, but life itself. Wealth isn't built by reacting, it's built by positioning. Silver taught me that patience isn't passive, it's strategic. Here's the honest answer, without hype, without drama. Most people lose money not because they bought the wrong asset, but because they sell the right one at the wrong time. Silver has a way of testing conviction before it tests price. Think about the people who quietly accumulated silver when nobody cared, when it felt boring, when it wasn't trending. Many of them weren't rich at the start. They were disciplined. They understood that real wealth moves slowly before it moves suddenly. I've seen small business owners, engineers, and everyday workers use silver as a foundation, not a gamble. One man I know treated silver like savings with purpose. Every month, without emotion, without checking the price daily, he converted excess cash into physical metal. Years later, when inflation ate away at others, his purchasing power stood firm. That's not luck. That's alignment between mindset and strategy. And here's the micro truth most people miss. Silver doesn't need constant attention. It needs consistency. Another story stands out. A young entrepreneur once told me silver taught him how to think long term. He didn't get rich overnight. What he got was stability. When markets shook, when businesses slowed, silver became his psychological anchor. He didn't panic, he didn't rush, he waited. And waiting, when done with intention, is one of the most underrated skills in life. If you can master waiting, you can master wealth. Now, let's bring this back to you. If you're asking whether to sell, ask yourself a deeper question first. Did your reason for buying silver change, or did the noise just get louder? Because fundamentals don't scream, they whisper. Silver is not just a metal, it's a reflection of discipline, a hedge against uncertainty, and a reminder that value doesn't disappear just because emotions fluctuate. Here's a practical shift that changes everything. Stop seeing silver as a trade and start seeing it as a position. Traders need perfect timing, builders need patience. One strategy builds stress, the other builds freedom. Set personal rules. Buy when others are distracted, hold when others are emotional. Review your position rarely, not daily. Wealth grows in silence, not in constant reaction. And let's be clear, smart investing doesn't mean blind holding. It means clarity. Know why you own silver. Is it protection? Is it long-term purchasing power? Is it generational thinking? When you're clear, decisions become calm. Fear fades, confidence replaces urgency. This applies beyond silver. This is how people win in business, in careers, in life. They stop chasing every signal and start committing to a plan. Here's another micro hook to remember. Every major financial shift in history rewarded those who prepared early and punished those who reacted late. Silver has always played that role quietly. It doesn't beg for attention, it waits for recognition. And recognition usually comes after patience has already done its job. So what should you do now? Build habits, not impulses. Allocate consistently. Avoid overexposure. Keep liquidity. Educate yourself continuously. Most importantly, train your mind to sit comfortably with uncertainty. That skill alone will put you ahead of 90% of people. Risk isn't the enemy, unprepared emotion is. If your goal is financial freedom, silver is not the entire journey, but it's a powerful companion on the road. It teaches restraint in a world addicted to speed. It teaches value in a world obsessed with price. And it reminds you that the biggest wins often look boring before they look brilliant. So no, this isn't hype. This is perspective. Selling out of fear has never built lasting wealth. Strategic patience has. Silver doesn't demand that you rush. It rewards that you think. If this message brought you clarity, hit like so more people hear calm truth instead of loud fear. Subscribe if you want grounded, real conversations about wealth and freedom. Share this with someone who's feeling pressure right now, someone who needs to slow down and think long term. Because the people who win aren't the loudest or the fastest. They're the ones who stay steady while the world shakes. Everyone keeps asking the same question right now, usually in a low voice, usually with fear hiding behind it. Should I sell my silver now? And before I answer, understand this. Questions like that only appear when something valuable is being tested. Nobody asks whether to sell what they don't believe in. Silver doesn't create doubt because it's weak. It creates doubt because it's rare, misunderstood, and powerful at the same time. And rare opportunities always shake emotions before they reward patience. I remember when I first faced this pressure myself. The charts were screaming, headlines were dramatic, and everyone around me suddenly became a market expert. Prices move fast, opinions move faster, and I felt that pull to react instead of think. That moment taught me something deeper than investing. Wealth is not built by reacting to noise. It's built by positioning yourself before the crowd understands what's happening. I watched a factory worker who quietly bought silver every month for years. No excitement, no stress, just discipline. While others spent their extra money chasing trends, he stacked real value. When inflation started hurting families, his savings didn't shrink, they strengthened. Silver became his shield, not his gamble. That's when I understood that boring consistency beats emotional decisions every single time. Another friend, a small business owner, used silver as a long-term anchor. During economic downturns when sales slowed, he never panicked because he knew part of his wealth was protected. While others were selling assets out of fear, he was calm, focused, and ready for opportunity. That calm didn't come from luck. It came from preparation and belief in real value. Here's what most people don't realize. Silver is not meant to make you rich tomorrow. It's meant to keep you strong for decades. It's the bridge between today's hard work and tomorrow's freedom. When you treat it like a quick trade, it creates stress. When you treat it like a foundation, it creates peace. If you feel pressure to sell, pause and ask yourself why you bought in the first place. Was it because of a headline or because you understood long-term value? Fundamentals don't change overnight. Emotions do. Markets move fast. But wealth grows slow and steady, just like a tree that becomes stronger every season. The people who win financially are not the smartest. They are the calmest. They build habits instead of chasing moments. They buy when others are distracted and hold when others are scared. Silver rewards that mindset. Financial freedom is built through patience, discipline, and strategic thinking. Silver is one of the tools that teaches all three. It trains you to delay gratification, to trust value over noise, and to stay strong when the world feels uncertain. When you understand this, fear loses its power and clarity takes over. You stop reacting and start building. You stop guessing and start positioning yourself for long-term success. People don't usually ask whether to sell something when they feel confident. That question shows up when pressure rises, when prices move, and when emotions start talking louder than logic. Silver has a way of doing this because it sits at the intersection of patience and opportunity. It doesn't reward panic. It rewards those who can stay calm when the world feels uncertain. I've seen this cycle repeat again and again. When silver is quiet, nobody cares. When it moves, everyone suddenly wants answers. Years ago, a young investor I met started buying small amounts of silver every time he got paid. Not because the price was exciting, but because he believed in protecting his future. While friends spent money on short-term pleasures, he quietly built long-term security. When inflation hit and costs rose everywhere, his purchasing power didn't disappear. It stayed strong. Here's the truth most people learn too late. Wealth isn't built in moments of excitement. It's built in seasons of discipline. Silver is like planting seeds in strong soil. You don't dig them up every week to check if they're growing. You water them, protect them, and give them time. The growth happens quietly before it ever becomes visible. Another investor I know used silver as a safety net while building his business. When profits were high, he stored value. When times were slow, he never felt desperate. That emotional stability gave him the confidence to take smart risks, expand, and eventually scale his company. Silver didn't just protect his money, it protected his mindset. If you're feeling the urge to sell, recognize that urge for what it is. It's fear disguised as logic. Prices will always move, headlines will always shout, but real value doesn't vanish because of temporary swings. The strongest investors don't predict every move. They prepare for every season. Start thinking in years instead of days. Build a habit of steady accumulation instead of emotional reactions. Use silver as a foundation, not a lottery ticket. When you shift your mindset like this, investing becomes calm instead of stressful, strategic instead of impulsive. Financial freedom comes from consistency, clarity, and control over your emotions. Silver is one of the simplest tools to practice all three, and those who master them quietly position themselves for a future most people only dream about. When people start asking if it's time to sell silver, it usually means emotions are rising and uncertainty is spreading. That moment is exactly where long-term investors separate themselves from short-term thinkers. Silver has never been about quick wins. It's about protecting value and positioning for the future while others react to the present. I once met a man who treated silver like a lifelong habit, not an investment trend. Every month he converted a small portion of his income into metal and forgot about it. Years later, while prices of everything else had risen, his savings still carried real power. That simple discipline gave him peace when others felt pressure. Silver works best when you stop watching it every day and start trusting the process. Just like building strength in the gym, results don't show instantly, but consistency changes everything. The more patient you are, the stronger your financial foundation becomes. Fear tells you to move fast. Wisdom tells you to stand steady. Markets will always shake, but real value holds firm over time. When you build wealth slowly, you build it to last. If your goal is freedom, stability, and long-term security, Silver isn't something you rush in and out of, it's something you grow with. Those who understand this don't chase every price move. They focus on positioning, protecting, and patiently building a future where money works for them instead of controlling them.